Hello, everybody, and welcome to Healthy Tips for the Summer. I'm your host, Dr. Sydney Swick. A couple things about me for those who don't know me super well. I got in chiropractic when I was 22. I recently got out of undergrad with a degree in pre-med. At the time, I was actually prescribed about 7 different medications for anxiety, ADD, sleep problems. I was on an antibiotic for 3 years for acne, all kinds of things. And as you can probably imagine, that created a myriad of effects with me. I was tired all the time, depressed, terrible gastrointestinal issues, basically the works. I was kind of a shell of a human when I stumbled into a Maximize Living office. Funny story is, I only got that job because it was literally the only place that would hire me during COVID. But needless to say, the Maximize Living system and the 5 essentials have transformed my entire life. I'm speaking here before you today completely off of any medication. I compete in CrossFit. I have completely changed my diet, my mindset, my routines, and I can't wait to share some fun facts with you today. So, without further ado, our mission, both here at Discover but also across Maximize Living, is to lead a health revolution as a compelling choice for chiropractic and holistic living. In particular, just holistic living in general. We want people to live their best lives, not being a slave to different medications and different outside sources. No one wants to feel like their health is in the hands of someone else or at the hands of what CVS has in stock for that day or you name it. We all want to live our most vitalistic lives, so hopefully we can give you some tips on that today. All right, where do I start? I'm glad you asked. You start right here with this presentation. Simple and specific. We want to start with getting as specific as a goal as we can. If our main focus right now is cleaning up our diet, we could say that our goal is going to be eliminate kind of the bad factors I'm going to go over later. eliminate those for maybe 30 days or eliminate a couple for a week. Like we want to start with a simple goal. We don't want to jump to, oh, my goal is to lose 30 pounds in 10 days. We need it to be a little bit more simple if we want it to stick. Measurable. I myself absolutely hate keeping track of metrics. I despise budgeting. I despise charts. I despise putting anything down on paper. But this is the only way we know if we're getting closer to our goal, and it keeps us accountable to it as well. I tell people sometimes I had a Whoop strap that I never paid attention to, and all of a sudden when I was in school, I started noticing I was getting sick more frequently, and I couldn't figure out why. I decided to finally go into my Whoop data, and basically every time my sleep was terrible was the sense that I was getting sick. And if I didn't have that data available to me, I wouldn't have known what the main cause was. It would have taken me a lot longer to figure out. So when we do make a goal, we want to make sure that we are tracking how we do with that goal, good or bad, and I promise it's going to help you stay accountable. Attainable. We want to do something that's attainable. Most of us are not going to be Victoria's Secret model next fashion show. So we want to choose something that works with us, works with our lifestyle, and is an overall net positive to our lifestyle. If our goal of getting healthy is to focus on playing with our kids pain-free or to go to work without getting a headache, we want to keep our eye on the prize with that, establish a solid why. Relevant. We want to make sure that this goal is relevant to us, to our goals, and it's not driven by kind of outside societal pressures. We don't want our goals to be something that is reliant on other people or we're going to give it up. If your goal is to look like an Instagram model because you think that will make you happier, it's going to slip to the side versus, oh, if I transform my life and be healthy, I'm going to be a better partner, be a better mom, be better at my job. It just keeps it way more relevant, gives you a deeper drive in order to sustain them over time. And timely. We want to make sure we're breaking our goals down with effective and proper timelines. Like I said, we're not going to snap our fingers and lose 30 pounds overnight. So we need to sit down, put realistic times on things, and have realistic checkups with our measurements. All right, so this goes a little bit deeper, but I think you guys get the gist on what a SMART goal is, all right? So, just a recap of what we do here at Discover Chiropractic. We believe in the 5 essentials. The 5 essentials basically break down every major health aspect of our lives. We talk a lot about interference here in terms of chiropractic and how we can't function at our 100% when there's interference in these different segments of our life. So if we are able to focus individually on these different essentials, hopefully we can remove enough interference to live a healthy and vitality life. So I just want to break down the biopsychology real quick of just creating new goals and patterns in our lives. Basically, our brain is wired and developed to maintain homeostasis. What that means is whatever our brain is used to, our daily routines, if you don't have routines, I promise you, you have them. We do the same things, just our body just goes through motions without us even knowing. And that's because the more repetitions we do something, the more our brain rewires it as to keep that as homeostasis. If you wake up every day and instantly check your phone for 2 hours, then you meander over, get a bunch of snacks, and sit on the couch all day and play video games, your brain is going to create these patterns that if your brain is turned off, your body's going to go through these motions without you even trying. Therefore, in order to kind of start switching the way that we live, we need to make these simple changes that trick the brain, but they're small enough so the brain doesn't really catch until they just start getting ingrained in our new routines. All right, warning signs we need chiropractic. I'm sure that you guys are familiar with this stuff or you wouldn't be here in the first place, but obviously, uh, subluxations can affect way more than just pain, right? We get ear infections, constipation, sleep problems, eczema, skin. Before I got chiropractic, I basically had every single thing on this list. And I was doing all the right things. I was eating well. Granted, I was on a ton of medications, but I was eating well, I was exercising, I was doing the mindset, I was sleeping, and nothing was getting better. And that was because my brain could not talk to my body. All right, we've got a lovely picture of our very own Dr. Osborne here, chiropractic at the center. I hope I've kind of beat that into you by now. Uh, Home care. As you guys know, I take a lot of x-rays here. The biggest thing I see different in people's x-rays is home care. Your x-rays will not change if you're not doing your home care. They might get slightly better, you might feel better, but if we want to get those functional changes, if we want to get the disc space back in your spine and give those nerves some room to breathe, we need to do our home care. Your spine is held together by these tiny little things called ligaments, which are basically dry rubber bands. So when we adjust you, those ligaments stretch a little bit and then they put you back into your old pattern. If we're not doing our home care and molding these ligaments into the curves that we want, your adjustments are not going to hold and your spine is not going to change. So there's my tough love moment for you guys, but you get the gist. Your home care. All right, more chiropractic. Let's move on. Nutrition. Okay, I'm going to try to keep nutrition as simple as possible here. And guys, I know this is a summer talk, but these things just apply regardless, whatever time of the year, okay? So, nutrition, what you eat affects how you function. I hope everyone knows that by now. I'm sure we've all had stints of eating super clean and feeling more energetic, feeling way better, less brain fog, sleeping better, all the things. But I'm going to give you some kind of simple tips to simplify nutrition. Okay, the Max Living Core Plan is what we suggest for basically everybody to be on, regardless. If you think you're eating healthy right now, I promise if you log stuff, there's going to be more surprises than you expect. In the Max Living Core Plan, the main things we want to hit is that you're eating lots of healthy fats and proteins. That's going to make up the core of your diet. It's pretty similar to keto in the fact that we want 90% of your diet to basically be healthy fats and protein, and about 10 to 15% carbs. So that's going to make us that nice fat burner type metabolism where we're burning our excess fat when we are living life. We're not depending on the next sugar hit and just keep storing fat. The other thing, naturally raised animal proteins. Guys, what the animals eat before they get killed is also what goes into your body. So think about that. I'm sure we've all seen the YouTube videos of a cow being, this is gory, a cow being cut open and they're just shoving corn into its stomach. If you haven't seen it, just take my word, it is horrific. But all that cornmeal that has been covered in glyphosate and antibiotics and every basically terrible chemical you could imagine is going into that cow and is then going into your body. It's important that our animal proteins come from well-raised sources, grass-fed, etc. Whole grains and ancient grains, we want to avoid our refined grains, our breads. Unfortunately, these things weren't bad for us until our farming system decided to spray everything with glyphosate, and that is a huge endocrine disruptor. So we're going to stick to whole grains and ancient grains, and then a variety of fruits and vegetables. And this is kind of the bare bones plan. Now we get into the Max Living Advanced plan, which we basically, I want to say prescribe, but suggest for anybody who has any kind of clinical diagnosis from cancer, diabetes, autoimmune diseases. Anytime you're having kind of these major inflammatory diseases, we want to cut inflammation as much as we possibly can. So what this means is no grains at all, so gluten-free, and that means no boxed food that says gluten-free, because that stuff almost has more sugar than just regular gluten itself. And as a rule of thumb, we want to stay away from anything in a box or in a bag. We want to stick to anything that we can find in the produce and meat section only. Many healthy fats, that includes animal proteins, that includes avocado oil, coconut, certain nuts and seeds, but healthy fats. No damaged fats, please, no seed oils. I hope that has been kind of widespread enough, but that stuff is absolutely poison, so we want to stay away from things like canola oil, vegetable oil, palm seed, grape seed, basically anything that's not extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil. And then when it comes to fruits and berries, if we can stick to low glycemic fruits and berries. The one last thing I'll say about fruits and berries is there's been some pretty recent research. There is a doctor whose name is Stephen Gundry. He came out with a book that basically what they have found is that fruits and vegetables have become so resilient over time that all their seeds are actually poisonous to animals that try to eat them. So they have evolved to the point where these seeds are super, super inflammatory. So strawberries, tomatoes, nightshades, those are some of the big offenders. So you might be wondering, oh, why does my gut blow up when I eat a bell pepper or a tomato? It's actually because the seeds are super, super inflammatory. What they're called is lectins. And if you have a sensitive system, I would recommend A, reading that book, but B, trying to stay away from fruits and vegetables that have a lot of seeds, because the seeds are super inflammatory. Okay, and eat seasonally. Our bodies were designed to hunt and forage what is around at the time, not what we like to eat all year. So we shouldn't be eating watermelon in the winter. We should be eating squash in the winter and things like that. So you can kind of just Google search if you're super curious. I mean, again, some of this stuff kind of gets into the weeds. Depending on where you're at in your health journey, keep it simple, but I just want to give you the knowledge that I know. So depending if your diet's already clean and you're like, why am I still getting inflamed? We might want to try some of this more nitpicky stuff. But basically, if you go to any local farmer's market, that's what's going on seasonally. You can look it up. Again, I just put some kind of quick stuff in for what's seasonal in California for spring and summer. All right. Last thing, so if you want to splurge, look, I can promise you, every single doctor, every single person that works here, we got our cheat days too, all right? We're not perfect. If we follow the 90-10 rule for the most part, if we're eating good 90% of the time, 10% of the time we have a little kind of splurge, it's not going to kill anybody, okay? But if we are going to splurge, I do have a list of things that are better than the alternative. So I can send this out separately as well, but just like a quick things off the top, if you love Coke, this Zevia brand is great. One of my very, very favorite things is down here in the corner, this Primal Kitchen. Pretty much all of their dressings, mayo, everything like that is made with avocado oil and little to no sugar, organic ingredients. It tastes delicious too. So any of like your main dressings, try Primal Kitchen. You can get it at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, anywhere. And I can send this list out too. Okay. Minimize toxins. So these are just a quick list of the toxins that we are exposed to that are kind of the worst ones. So BPA, that's going to be in all of our plastic things. For the summertime, when we are bringing things around in Tupperware, we want to be using glass containers. PFAS, so this is the chemical that goes on all of our nonstick pans. Just a tidbit for you guys, my little sister is an environmental engineer, and she talked to me unsolicitedly about PFAS or whatever she called it, this PFOA, for basically an entire day, telling me how bad it is for everyone and society. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really remember everything she said, but I can tell you if she took the energy to talk my ear off about it, it's really bad. So avoid it. Avoid nonstick pans. Chlorine, if we're going to be in the pool this upcoming summer, we want to make sure that we're detoxing from chlorine. So a really easy way to do this is to take an Epsom salt bath at night. After you're in the pool, that is actually going to neutralize the chlorine. Fluoride, they pump enough fluoride into our water if we're not drinking 100% purified water, so let's avoid that in our toothpaste, please. Cyanide, this one hurts me personally because a form of cyanide is actually found in a lot of popular energy drinks, such as Celsius, and I want to say Monster, Red Bull, a couple of the big ones. If you guys are more interested on that, if you drink a lot of energy drinks, please YouTube search Gary Brecka on cyanide in energy drinks, and he will go deeper into that. Formaldehyde is going to be in a lot of cleaning products. Parabens are going to be in lotions, shampoos, makeups, all of that fun stuff. Our skin is our biggest organ, so we want to make sure that a simple rule of thumb is don't put anything on your skin you wouldn't eat, because it's all going to the same place. And last but not least, oxybenzone. So this is what is found in sunscreen. And again, our skin is our biggest organ. So if we are just coating ourselves in this oxybenzone, first of all, it's a huge endocrine disruptor, which means it's basically, whether you're male or female, it's going to give you every hormone that you don't want. If you're a female, it's going to increase the uncomfortability of your cycle. It's going to make PMS symptoms worse. It's going to increase estrogen, increase soreness around your cycle. If you're a man, it also increases estrogen, lowers testosterone, which comes with more kind of like mood swings, less libido, less energy, all of that. So let's be careful on our sunscreen use. So if we're going to use sunscreen, we have a couple that we like. This one is called Badger. You can get it online. It's all organic, and it does not have oxybenzone in it. Also, our office manager, Jen, wanted me to throw in that oxybenzone kills coral reefs. Okay, guys? So keep our reefs protected, keep your skin protected, and get a nice organic oxybenzone-free sunscreen. All right, The other thing is detox from technology, but what I want to say about this is detox from dopamine. We live in a society that's all about the next kind of hit of pleasure, and it's really bad for our brain over time. When you get hit after hit after hit of dopamine, what that does is basically crashes your system, and you aren't able to make things like serotonin and more long-term happy chemicals. So we're putting ourselves into kind of a self-determined um, depression by not limiting our screen time, not limiting just these little things that make us happy. We got to kind of spread it out, be a little bit more disciplined. All right. Obscenogens, again, these are just all the things I talked about that are endocrine disruptors. So if whether you're male or female, think of every hormonal thing you don't want. That's basically what these chemicals do. All right, quick action steps. We can switch out our plastic dishes for glass, using stainless steel pots and pans, and trying to use only natural cosmetics, lotions, hair products, etc. The other thing, we have a great detox system here at the office. I know that we talk to you guys about this a lot. A lot of people will do big kind of detox programs, which is more just dietary or cleanses or things like that. But what we found is a lot of these chemicals actually get stuck in your cells, and the only way to remove it out of your cells is to do a cell detox, which is one of the supplements we sell. It's not like a forever thing, but it pulls those chemicals out of your cell and helps you excrete them. So you can do all the kind of like fasting, more macro level cleanses, but at the end of the day, we still need to pull those toxins out of our cells. Mindset. Self-explanatory, right? Okay, so I just want to go over, these are a couple things that I like in terms of mindset if we're kind of feeling these different emotions. We've got our 1 minute, 10 minute, and 30 minutes. How much time do we have to kind of get ourselves re-regulated? I'll let you look over this. I'll send these slides out as well, but my kind of cheat sheet to this, which I literally use in my life all the time, if you feel overexerted, take a nap or take some space or just be alone for a second, take some deep breaths, remove yourself from the situation. Don't push harder. I'm talking to myself in the mirror when I say this because I am terrible at that, but I'm telling you, it helps. Angry. This is also something that I struggle with a lot. When I was a teenager, I used to fight with my dad all the time, and when I would get super mad, he would force me to chug like 2 bottles of water or like a whole mason jar of water, like an exorbitant amount of water. And he wouldn't let me rebuttal until I did that. And basically, and you guys try this out, like try this yourself. When you chug an exorbitant amount of water when you're angry, it neutralizes you. Like, you might not come down to 0, but it brings it down a lot. I can't explain why this happens, but it does. Overwhelmed. Start making a list. When I get overwhelmed, I just start listing everything I'm overwhelmed about, and once I see it on paper, it's usually not that bad. Self-conscious. If you're getting in these kind of like self-negative loops, just take a shower. For whatever reason, energetically, I feel like that just kind of takes it back down. And low libido. This is one that a lot of people just don't know about. Eat more meat. Red meat helps a ton. Prioritize sleep. Not to be redundant, but this is important. Make the time, and if it's not sleep, make time to be by yourself. Oxygen and exercise. So, the most important thing I'm going to say about this is the most important exercise is the one that sticks. So, find what you like to do. Go through a trial run of gyms until you find a community and a style of working out that you like, and then you'll notice it's way easier to stick to. Like I said, the easiest way to build a habit with exercise is keep going to gyms for free until you find people you vibe with. And then I challenge you to go at the same exact time every single day for a week. And next thing you know, you're going to make friends who want you to be there, and you're going to feel bad not showing up for them, if not yourself. All right. So, just a couple of things about supplements right here. The number one supplement, I'm going to say vitamin D. Even though you're getting tons and tons of sunlight, here's why vitamin D is important. Your PCP is going to recommend that you stay at a 25 serum vitamin D level. You know what you prevent with that? Rickets. You know what you prevent if we're at like a 65 serum vitamin D level? Basically every major disease. So we want to be taking at the very minimum 5,000 IUs, but I recommend 10,000. And the second one, omegas. Our whole body is made up of healthy fats. Our blood vessels, our nerves, our joints, our brain tissue. If we are starving our body of healthy fats, nothing can work smoothly. Your joints are going to ache, your nerves can't send signals quickly, your blood vessels can't pump. Very important.